Hello, this is old Mr. Kent of MrKent.com, and we'll talk about that more later. And down there below is my son and his son. This is Saturday morning, and it's time to get the yard cleaned up because the weeds are overtaking everything. So now they finally noticed the drone, and so they're going to get started. And my son, he's always nice to everybody. I mean, you can't find somebody who is more of a servant than well, you probably could, but you'd have to look a long, long ways for a long, long time. And so, when we first moved the fifth wheel out here, and we were living in it, and I looked out the window of the fifth wheel one morning on the weekend, and he was out riding that tractor right there, mowing the lawn. And then when he got through mowing the lawn, then he did all the weed eating. And then I can't remember, but he's always working on somebody's car. So he worked all day and kind of decided in my heart that, by the way, this is the first time that my grandson has driven that tractor. And so it's kind of fun watching him because he's not having any trouble at all. Well, anyway, so I decided, I've always enjoyed taking care of my lawns. And so I thought, well, I'll volunteer to do the lawn. So although my leg is bad, so I can't do the weed eating because you have to walk backwards and there's too many ups and downs in this yard. So I tried it and it didn't work too well. So anyway, so I started doing the lawn for my son, and I've been doing it, all ever since then. And then, of course, he does it once in a while, but most of the time I end up doing it for him. And so, and then he still does the weed eating. So anyway, he's a super nice guy and he's always helping everybody. And so, I decided, well, that's what I would do. So ever since we moved in here, I have been doing the lawn, mowing the lawn with that tractor. By the way, as I said earlier, we'll talk more about MrKent.com later. So we might as well take a minute while we're watching him work on the yard and talk about MrKent.com. 40 years ago, November of 1982, I was in a motorcycle that summer, and then in November, I learned or started teaching myself how to program computers. And so I got started in that and kind of fell in love with doing that. And then for the next several years, I wrote programs that were just utility type programs. And like, for instance, the Christian school where I was working, I set up a Commodore computer so that it would ring the school bell, when it was necessary, like in the morning and at lunchtime and all that stuff. Only thing is it wasn't a school bell. We just had big speakers out there. And so I programmed it so it would play some kind of little tune that the kids would like. And so that was one of the things. Plus, I programmed another Commodore computer to actually run the station and keep track of time, and then automatically run like promotionals and stuff like that at the top of the hour. So really loved programming. And I did programming. I got into using a normal PC and programming for that. And for the next, let me think. Well, I did that for 17 years. anyway, and then about that time, the internet came along. Believe it or not, I'm that old. So the internet came along, and I decided to program for a website, and I put up a website called MrKent.com, and I think I've explained before the reason I called it that was because my students called me Mr. Kent, and they wanted me to put up some typing tutors and typing tests and stuff like that. So, by the way, now we're going to get a little bit of a lesson in backing up the tractor. So he has no idea at this point of how to back it up and steer the trailer. So he's just, and his dad is by the way, this whole thing was based on the patience of his dad, my son. So anyway, so he's being very patient with him all through the day, helping him do this. So anyway, so 17 years went by, and then the internet came along, and I set up MrKent.com. And so it's been set up, well, it's 24 years old as I speak, so it's been up that long. And then as time has changed, of course, I put all kinds of apps on there if you've been to my website, but things that were totally free that people could use. And so anyway, but I don't know, maybe 5, 6, 7, 8 years ago, I ran out of ideas for putting up applications, so I kind of stopped programming as much. And so kind of, got out of the habit of programming. And so anyway, recently, my web hosting service suggested that I upgrade to their newer routers and use some new firmware that you can use on the web. So anyway, I said, I've been putting it off. I said, okay, I'll go ahead and do that. Well, when I did that, then many very useful apps on my website no longer worked, which is not good because several thousand people use my my database, but like 400 or 500 people a day use all the different things on my website. So many of them have stopped working, and so we tried let's see, it would have been Thursday and Friday. Oh, now here's another lesson coming up in backing up a trailer. Anyway, so many we started the web hosting service, and we started doing whatever we could to make it work, and it just wouldn't work. And so by the end of the day, Thursday, they said they would start looking into the possibility of them updating my code for me. And the reason that is because the code has changed so much in the last several years that it would be really hard for me to catch up. So the website would be useless for a long time. So they're going to see if they can do that, and we're going to find out how much it's going to cost, and that will determine whether or not MrKent.com stays up or not. But it's been up. I've been programming for 40 years, and that's like the lifetime of you retire at the end of 40 years. So I'm not, I finally just gave up the idea of really being worried about it, because there's not much I can do about it at my age. I'm 80 years old. So anyway, we're going to see what happens, and we'll watch him learn how to back up. His dad's trying to help him with it here. And and by the way, if you noticed at the beginning, there was this picture of me scratching my head and wincing, and that's coming up. So don't go away, just a couple more minutes. But so he's getting a lesson on how to back up the trailer, and he's doing a pretty good job for his first lesson, although there's always a learning curve. So anyway, so that's that. And then on this, as we cleaned up Saturday, well, then my wife, she was out burning a bunch of old cardboard that was laying there. And so that's here in Arizona. We got pure enough air that they don't worry too much about burning cardboard. It's not a good idea to burn plastic stuff, but cardboard is made out of, like trees. So, look at here. Guess what happened? That's also one of the reasons I told you why I've been doing all the mowing and stuff. So my son showed him how to mow. So the field on the right, he did all that, and then he did the field here that you just saw him. And now they're headed out to the front yard. And so we'll see how things go out there. And by the way, like I was saying, you'll not find a nicer guy than my son. He's very patient with my grandson, teaching him how to do these things. Of course, now he won't have to do it, and it looks like I've lost my job. So, so here we go to the front yard, and he's going to start. Dad, catch up. So he's going to start showing them how to mow the front yard. Now, when summer gets here, the grass will be growing a lot faster. Right now, it's mostly weeds, but there is a little bit of grass here and there. So it's a good day to clean up everything. The sun hardly ever came out. In fact, it was supposed to have rain this evening. This is Saturday evening as I'm recording this, and then overnight we're supposed to have rain. So here we go. He's gonna do the front yard. All right, his dad's showing him what to do, where to go, and how to do it, and everything. And I'm following along, going sideways on my drone. You'll notice that my Mini 3 Pro doesn't have any avoidance on the side. What was that? Yeah, ended up in a tree. But my son was kind enough to get it down from me without breaking it. It all came out well. I want to thank you for watching my videos, and God bless.